You did it?
Does it look at all different?
I mean, I know. I'm trying to say that it does.
Do they look a little... No.
Look at me.
I think it looks the same.
It looks the same. Sorry. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never understood this one. Remember you were like, ugh, and I was like...
I know, I was like, I'm going to give my eyelashes a perm.
You were like, the reason you never see them is because they're straight. And I was like, I was picturing like Snuffleupagus. You seen his eyelashes?
Yeah.
I was like, if what you're saying was true, then everybody would look like Snuffleupagus. Like how Ishan looks after a bath. He's got his bottom eyelashes are like on his face, stuck to his face. It's really funny. He looks like a not real person. I can't get over how much he loves my dad. It's the cutest thing I've ever seen.
Of course he loves him.
I mean...
Oh, God, I have to share a picture with you. And there's more around it, too. Wait, are you going to share me... Are you going to share me a photo?
Like, this is where he goes every time I'm tell them to do, like, on all fours anything.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad gets super annoyed.
Aww.
So cute. No. My dad, like, loses, I feel like he loses patience with him quite, like, more than I expect.
Really?
Kind of. He's being like, whoa, this is sick.
Wait, okay. So my parents are going through like boxes of old photos.
Okay.
It's very cool, actually.
You love that.
I love old photos.
Yeah.
And they're these photos I've never seen before, too.
Really?
You know, so there's something like really like, oh, whoa. It's just like such a different perspective on my family, I guess. And so my dad found this. And that's my sister. It's basically just like my dad with my little baby sister, who's maybe like, she's so young in that photo.
Tiny.
Yeah. And I think she's actually trying to breastfeed. I think that's what she's doing.
That makes sense.
Like, her tongue's kind of out.
Yeah, she's like, this is what it is.
She looks pretty spaced out. Yeah.
She's like days or weeks old.
Yeah.
Like, not even a month, I would say.
Yeah, and they're just, like, in bed together. My dad looks like, I don't know, maybe he's been up all night with her. Anyway, and then I texted my sister and I was like, that photo of you and Dad is beautiful. And she was like, yeah, Dad looks good. I was like, uh-huh. And she's like, my tongue's sticking out.
Are you kidding?
No.
She owns that? She's like, that's my tongue?
Yeah, and she's like, I mean, she admitted it, but it was like she's hard on her 1 week-old self. Like, she owned it. She was like, when you judge yourself so much that you even do it about your infant self.
Right, no, what I mean, like, by owned it, I meant something else. But
oh, what did you mean?
I meant that she thinks that's her tongue, even though it's clearly a 5-day-old baby.
Her tongue? Like,
yeah,
she's
like
responsible for it?
Yeah, like it reflects on her.
Yeah.
Even though, like, it's really hard to connect. Like like when you see an infant, you're like, I don't know. I'm not. Look at my hands. I don't. I mean, obviously it's me, but
it's like
it's kind of like a different person, though.
Yeah.
You don't normally like hold yourself retroactively to the same weird standards.
She does.
Of course she does. My tongue. That's like a baby's tongue as much as it's her tongue, you know?
It's a baby. I bet she's like, I don't know, like everything's just shapes and colors and sounds. And
it's that.
Yeah. I don't know.
That is some Olympic level judgment.
Right?
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
And totally skips over.
Yeah.
Like the look that my dad is giving her, which is just, it made me think about like, they always had a special connection to. It made me think about your nephew and your dad. Yeah, she totally skips over that part. It's just like, what do I look like? Am I an attractive baby?
No one's attractive at that age. Close to all. Like all newborns are pretty much weird looking.
Were you? Were you just like eyes?
No, I was hair.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it was all hair. I'm sure my mother will feel prompted to send a picture at some point if she's watching.
Yes.
I
was just red. I was a turnip.
Yeah.
I had dark hair when I was born.
Yeah, I think even like when my eyes were like Ishan's eyes, but Ishan's eyes weren't like his eyes when he was first born. Like you're fully like this, even if you have huge eyes.
Yeah.
Because you're part fish.
You are. That's so true.
I know, it's really gross. I think it's gross.
I was thinking about like when personality comes on. I was thinking about you're like, why doesn't he like peas?
You thought that was so dumb when I first said it.
I know.
You
And
were
I'm still like,
I still think it's so dumb.
well, I was thinking about like, why am I not in awe the way that she's in awe? What am I missing?
Like based on what?
What do you mean?
You don't like peas based on what? Like there's no chance
nothing to back it up.
Yeah, there's no chance for anything
cause.
to have been imprinted. There's no chance for history. Why would a blank slate hate peas?
So it's like totally random, just something where there's nothing. Yeah,
and it makes it clear to me that they come preloaded with something, which like obviously everyone knows they do, but I don't know. Sometimes it's not that obvious.
Yeah, so I was wondering like when does personality come on? Like, and even in the womb, you know how they like have like babies that. You know how like babies laugh in your like.
You've heard babies laugh in people's stomachs?
Yeah. No, but I've seen footage. You can like see on the monitors, like you can actually see them laughing. Easy.
Yeah, there was definitely pictures of Ishan smiling before as well.
Yeah. So like, but you can't predict what's gonna make someone smile. You know? Does that make sense?
I'm sure it does, but I'm a bit slow today.
Like one baby could be like super happy and laughing, maybe even in the womb.
Yeah.
For no reason. Yeah. And another wouldn't.
Yeah, and that to me is the thing of like, what's going on there?
Yeah.
How is there already someone there? Where did they come from? Because we know where all the cells came from.
Yeah, and people would say like, oh, well, whatever, it's in your DNA, it's in your genes. Even that is like how?
Not everything is in your DNA. You know? There's some encoding for sure, but it's not 100% predictive. And you certainly can't predict whether or not someone will like peas. I'm serious.
I bet you can.
It's just like cilantro and stuff like that. There are a couple of things that for whatever reason are genetic. But I don't think his dislike for peas is genetic. That's what I mean. Like he's come preloaded with some mysterious shit from I don't know where. Who says you don't like peas? He now doesn't like carrots. I'm sure when that
I
happens.
also don't know. Like, I can conceive it being like it being a random choice. Like, no, don't like that, and then he just sticks to it.
But I don't
But
know if
even if it
babies.
is a random choice,
I don't think babies that
why
young.
that choice?
I don't think babies that young make random choices.
You think everything is based in something?
I've got no idea
You know,
who or
like-
what they are.
But you know,
So-
like the all the studies about like people making decisions, and they can actually like see the decision before
Yeah.
the people make it, and then afterwards they come up with really on my studies. I should really. They've been like, oh, they've been primed to make a certain choice, and the people fill in the explanation for things that are like completely irrelevant. My point being, like, even if he's, it's not necessarily the reason.
But I want to know what the reason is.
What if there is no reason?
Not his reason.
What if there's no reason?
It's just very mysterious.
It is.
But that's what it's been the whole time to me. It's like, what is happening? I can't remember if it was Robert or Body Graph or somewhere in the like conversations about stars.
Mhm.
I've seen some date that is like 5 months or so before you're born as being a meaningful date. Can't be Robert because he never gave me anything to.
I think that is the body graph.
That's the body graph. Like he never gave me anything.
That's
on
what it
paper.
calculates, yeah.
And when I saw that date, I was like, what? I wonder what that is or what they're saying about it. And one of the things that occurred to me is like maybe that's when they think that you will arrive on the scene.
That's when you start being you.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Because what is that calculation? It's not like it's right on the birthday.
Okay, with astrology, what is it they're actually saying?
What do you mean?
I don't know if I've ever like really thought through this. They're like, based on where you were born, the time you were born at, the planets and the stars were in a certain position, and that affected who you are.
I don't know if they say causality, but
So like they're saying that the planets have a certain force or energy that has an effect on.
I don't know if it's an effect.
Okay, what is it?
Well, what I'm saying is that there can be a relationship without being a causal.
Yeah.
Causal.
So it's not that
relationship.
but
The planets aren't making you maybe anything.
don't astrologers also say like, oh yeah, now like we're moving into Gemini season,
Yeah.
and that's gonna have everyone. That's gonna have people acting a certain way, or like new things are gonna be coming up.
Yeah, I don't know to what extent those things are true. Because the only two astrologers I've interfaced with.
It's a good point about like it might not be cause and effect. It might be moving into Gemini season. These things tend to come up.
Yeah. I don't know. I do know that astrology is ancient. So I'm sure someone knows the answer to this, is what I'm saying.
Ooh.
What? Robert.
I don't want to get a reading.
You just realized you want to get a reading?
No, I've known I want to get a reading, but I'm like, I can't justify it. I can't justify this cost. I can't justify this cost.
Are you justifying this cost?
And justifying this cost. Yeah.
Cool. I mean, he's also not going anywhere, so you don't need to do it tomorrow, right?
No. He's not. Yeah.
So you,
And I'm
you can do
assuming
it
I
in a
would
way
need to
that
plan it like a little bit in advance. I don't know if I could be like, "Hey, Robert, what are you doing tomorrow?"
well, that I don't think that's how the schedule generally
Exactly.
works. But I'm saying on your end, not on his end. There's your Terry. Hurry.
You want to know a really stupid reason why I'm like afraid to,
Why you're afraid to schedule?
or to get a reading?
I do.
Because I think he'll be like, "Ooh, ugh, you're a."
I've never seen this before, but I think you might be astrologically cursed and impossible.
I mean, cursed would even be good. Because I'd be
Impossible.
so special. To be so, I'd be the beast.
666. Imagine if that's
Actually, no, that would be pretty bad. He's like, if he just disconnects the call, he's like, we're ending. Yeah, he's just like, oh, I don't know. Tough luck, kid.
Obviously, that's not going to happen for multiple reasons.
Probably no one is like that.
I don't know. Based on how the astrologer was with me when I was in high school,
Yeah.
he might have told you that you just inherently suck. Not you, but like, he
Yeah.
might have told someone.
Like, this is your first time here. You don't really know what the hell you're doing. It's
Robert
just
was
gonna be
like-
rough.
Robert was like, you know how sometimes you walk down the street, you see people walking, and you're like, oh, first time in a body? And I was like, I do. He was like, you know. It's like, yeah. Okay.
Evan used to say that. He probably still said, when he's talking about reincarnation, which I'm sure he talks with his brother all the time about. He used to say that he's pretty sure this is his first time as a human. Like, he's like, I'm pretty sure I've been animals
That's really funny.
many, many times before, and I'm still much closer to that than
That's
to this.
really funny.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's my first time. That's funny.
Like, he's so sensitive to sound. I've told you that, right?
No.
He's so sensitive to sound. You have smells. For him, sound is like, he can't. If there's like a background, like fridge sound or something, it'll keep him up at night.
Wow.
Like, it'll drive him crazy. He's like a dog.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ishan used to be very sensitive to sound, even more so.
Mm.
He once started crying when I burst out laughing because it was so sudden. I was like, no, it's okay. Or like sneezes. He started crying from all kinds of stuff that's just like
so sad. Yeah,
very,
yeah.
he gets very freaked out. So he had like, they used to have elaborate warning systems for like the pressure cooker, the blah, blah, blah. That's why I even used to count down the coffee maker here.
Oh, right.
So he knows it's happening.
Yeah, and make it fun. Make it like something to be excited about rather than. Hey, I think that's. I think I still have some of that.
Yeah, I mean, I almost stabbed you the other day based on God knows what.
Yeah.
So clearly, everyone's jumpy. Yeah, I fully like start a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Easily startled. You remember? I mean, I'm sure I've showed it to you, but you might have already seen it also. That kid getting interviewed for Halloween, about Halloween, in like a hallway, and someone's like, so Daryl, are you going to be dressing up for Halloween? And then goes like this, and at that moment, someone jumps out of the trash can.
I don't think so. No,
Are
I don't
you
think I
fucking
watched
serious?
that one. No.
Oh my god. This is one of the most impactful YouTube videos I've ever seen. It's like 4 seconds long. Someone jumps out of the recycling bin in a costume,
Yeah.
scaring the kid who's getting, what's
Yeah.
it called? And almost instantly he turns around and punches him in the face. almost instantly as the person comes out of the trash can. It's crazy how fast it is. I don't think I would do that.
No,
I would just fall over and die.
See, that's like a how old is this kid?
He's in high school.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought this was like 4 years old, and I was like, that's a little. That's a tough guy.
I need to find it now. I never remember how to YouTube things. Like,
Daryl. Just look up Daryl.
ready?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, Tyrone, are you going trick-or-treating? No, probably.
Isn't that so fast?
He was ready.
Are you going trick or treating?
Wait.
Boom.
Tyrone, are you going trick-or-treating? No, probably.
And then now he's like,
It was like
backing
he'd
away.
been waiting his whole life for that moment, and he's like, now it's here.
Yeah, it's happening.
It's assimilated.
I don't know why we got to him, but I love that guy. I don't know who he is or what's going on in his world, but I love him. Imagine imagine if I did that when you came into the kitchen.
Oh my God.
Like I want to say he might have done that.
Yeah, I think he would have.
In his kitchen, you know?
Yeah, I
Like,
think he would have stabbed me. Because she was also chopping strawberries.
right. I must have been making so much psychic noise because, apart from actual noise, which there was plenty of.
I don't think anyone's ever snuck up on me.
I hate stuff like that. Like when people, the people do it on purpose, like this fucking. These
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
I don't find it the least bit funny. You know how some people will do that on purpose?
Yeah,
What's wrong with those people?
because I think it's funny.
Yeah, well,
I think for some people, it's funny to have it done to you too.
a lot of people are
It's
fine
like
with it.
it's like
A lot of
yeah.
people are fine with it.
thrill seekers.
It sets me on a whole don't do that. I think a better rule of thumb is don't do it. You do something like that to someone with fucking PTSD, and this will happen.
Oh yeah.
It's like this, all lightness aside, that makes me concerned for that kid.
Yeah, it does make me wonder what world he lives in,
Yeah, where that is
where someone jumping out of him means it's an attacker.
right.
Yeah,
and way to just not way to fight, not flight. He just he's just there for it. So opposite of me. I think that's why.
you just faint.
Of course, I fainted away even there. I was like,
Yeah, you didn't faint. You backed the fuck up. Yeah, yeah.
That's what I mean, though.
Yeah.
The flight, the whatever that is. I would take a couple of steps and then be like, I've never fainted. Have you ever fainted?
No, who are these
You haven't?
fainters? Wait, I
don't know who these people
don't
are.
think I fainted full on. The closest I got was when I had blood drawn.
And
No, I think I did faint. They took a lot of blood. Yeah, I'm not good around blood. Or I'm not good around blood in tubes. There's something if it was just a cut, maybe I'd be better.
Really?
Yeah. They took a lot of blood, and then I remember I got really woozy. I think I did faint. And then because I had fainted, they had to draw the blood again.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, because
Why would they do that?
it happened Apparently, it changes your blood if you faint.
We're fucking with you.
No, I don't know. Imagine they were. I don't know. That's what they said, so I had to get it done twice.
That seems unfair.
It was. Oh, it was.
Yeah, I don't know who these people who are fainting are.
What's wrong with me?
I do a lot of times when I get up feel very lightheaded.
You know, that's why I don't give blood.
I can imagine.
No, but I think there's something wrong with my blood. What's wrong with me? Like that people don't want my blood.
Yeah, okay. Why would you think?
Because I faint and I screw things up. Oh my god, this is toxic.
Yeah. That's really hilarious and also not.
That's not. Yeah,
Yeah.
all that blood I could have given. I'm not an AB, so it's all right.
Right. What are you?
An A plus.
A plus.
What are you?
Flawless blood type. I think I may be positive.
Just positive in general?
No, like, what do you mean? You said plus.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm AB positive.
Oh, 8. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Whatever the universal donor thing is.
Why do I always screw it up? Is that the donor or the receiver?
Donor.
An O is receiver.
So yes.
Nice.
Because I remember being like, I don't get any books. Just giving books.
Mm. Me too. What the hell's going on with blood types?
I think it's different.
What's going on there?
I think no one cares anymore.
No, but why do we have different blood types? So strange.
Why do we have different foot sizes?
So strange. Unnecessary.
Speaking of unnecessary,
Mm-hmm.
I have now purchased and returned 2 pairs of Birkenstocks.
No, you haven't.
And I almost didn't order the third.
No.
And by third, I mean the same. But just like a third attempt. And I almost was like, maybe this means I'm not supposed to have them. And then I was like, fuck that. I'm getting these goddamn things. If it's the last thing I do.
Yeah.
You know what else? I ordered that fucking cabinet for outside. Where's that? Checked in on it. It was delivered a few days ago. I was like, no, it wasn't. And I'm
What?
it's not going well for me with the with certain purchases. I ordered Toms. They were the wrong size.
Oh,
Yeah.
usually you're so good with it.
I mean, I almost never order. Yeah. I think my feet have shrunk.
From
I'm
lack of
serious. We went for a walk today, and the bottoms of my feet were hurting, and I was like, "Is this just like what it's like to be a wuss? What is this? What is this feeling?"
I don't know.
It was like, it wasn't like internal pain. It was like surface pain, like my skin.
Oh, weird. What were you wearing?
Vans and socks. It seemed like this is too chafy for you, my friend.
I don't know.
Have you ever walked so much that the bottoms of your feet hurt? Not inside your foot,
Oh, definitely.
just the surface.
Surface.
Like, yeah,
I
just
mean,
like,
usually it's like what I'm wearing.
this area right here.
Oh, that's
Felt
a
like
weird area. Usually it's my
inflamed.
heel that I screw up.
Huh.
Like for some reason, my shoes tend to catch
Oh,
on the heel or my my toes.
yeah, that's the weird part about things like this is that it's like it's not a problematic area.
Mhm. Right.
It's like it's not going like this with anything.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's pink though. I'd be a real shit hobbit.
Yeah.
Mm.
We need to do more earthing.
I mean, I definitely do. I was told by
Oh yeah.
by my panel of experts.
Do you think they get together when you're not there and they talk about you? Yeah, they totally do. Right? I just want them to be like your reps.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh,
You know, they book a boardroom and they have big meetings.
I don't know if my reps have meetings with each other across.
You can imagine. You can just imagine if it makes you happy.
Yeah. Oh my god. I don't think I should tell that story.
Okay.
About my funny, about a funny rep story.
She has great reps.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Isn't your agent called Chip?
One of them, yes.
Chip!
Remember I told you I have two edible
Yes! Chip and
Yes.
Stew!
Yeah.
So good.
I don't know why. Do you think that's a weird thing to notice?
No,
Or would you have noticed?
I would have noticed.
Okay. I can't tell if that's like I can't tell if I've just gone to food in my head or or like if when everyone hears like, oh hey, I'm Stu, are people like, I'm Stu?
It'd be funny if that's why you signed with them, because you're like, Stu.
I like Stu. You think people think about it like when they meet a chip, are they like chips?
What chips? I don't know. If maybe Chip.
I almost every single time I say his name or think it, I'm in the food aisle.
Yeah.
And I have to be like, get over it. His name is Chip. Can we move on? It's been years. I can't move on. You know what else?
Mhm.
In Beauty and the Beast, that little teacup. That's what his name is. Because he's got a chip.
Chip. Right.
Doesn't help though. I know they mean chip. I know they don't mean chip.
I also think Chip on my shoulder,
Oh.
which is like, ooh, do I like chips?
Do I like chips? I can't even stay on what you're saying because I'm already at chips.
I was thinking of your Mindy Kaling things.
Yeah.
Okay. And how you're like, you just don't care.
Mhm.
If you don't remember the name, you don't care. And I was like, yes, but
Mhm.
you could not care about names,
Mhm.
not about the person.
Yeah, in principle, yes, but I still posit that if it were a really important person, you'd find a way to remember that. Like if it was
I think I would not.
what?
Yeah,
If it was a really important person. Like if something
there's lots of really important people that I do not know their names.
in your life,
In my life, I don't know. What does that mean?
what does what mean? The question or the fact that you don't know anyone's name?
Yeah, I don't think I pay attention to names.
What are you paying attention to?
Like their essence.
Okay. And do you retain all of their essences? Do you have an essence library? Do you have a database
Do you have a database?
of essence?
Yeah.
You do?
A date.
Like are those people stored?
Yeah, I think they are.
Can you think of them? Any?
Yeah.
Who?
Like, okay. So obviously it's gonna be like people that aren't like super, super close to me, because if I've spent like 10 months with you or something, I don't know why that number, chances are I'll know your name.
Okay.
but I'm just thinking of like people who are in my life, who are important, who do get like mentioned a lot, and I still am like, who's that? And I'm thinking of like my sister's family, extended family now that I've all met. I can think of their names, but it's like a little bit tough. And instead, I just think of them. Like I don't think of their name. No.
Usually, if I don't have the name, I don't have the person.
Oh, okay.
I think that's not entirely true. Because obviously, I don't remember people's names sometimes. But I guess what I'm saying is, I think I might not have tracked those people's essences. Like I might not have retained it.
Right.
Like both their name and their essence might have come and gone.
Yeah. Okay. So you just don't even store it; it's gone.
I don't know. I'm speculating because we're talking about things we don't remember, which is a
Yeah.
highly limited action.
Anyway, I like it definitely could be someone who's like, you're not important, and I'm not like spending any brain like memory storage on you. I was like, different people find different things important about other people. And for some people, it's names. For other people, it's other.
For someone
other
with a long
things.
and complicated ethnic name,
Mhm.
which she obviously has, and so do I. It's a little bit of an Occam's razor thing. It's like, yeah, maybe this person doesn't store names like that, but the more obvious thing is that like they just haven't tried. Like,
Yeah.
and what I'm saying is, it happens to some people maybe more than it does to others.
Right. It doesn't mean that the person isn't important to them though. Or do you think it?
I think it does. I think if you can't remember my name, it's because you haven't bothered to. And I'm not above that. If I haven't, if I don't remember your name, it's because I haven't bothered to.
No one could ever pronounce my name growing up.
What?
I know.
And it's still so awkward for me sometimes.
Yeah, is it?
The lady who was teaching the handstand workout was like, yeah, Nita. Or something. I was like, fuck, I don't know how this happened. How did I get here? I told you every once in a while, like Stefan was like this. He would like interface with people I know and he'd be like, you're saying her name wrong. She's saying your name wrong. Like people I like live with or know really well. And I'm like, yeah, it's just like, come up. And he's like, what? I used to be much more specific, but at some point in time, I just kind of, like Corey, I don't know what he calls it.
Really?
Kind of. Jason has no idea what my name is.
What?
100%.
Oh, okay.
And many times I've been like, I should probably put him out of his misery and just be like, hey, in case you don't remember my name from when we first met, because maybe, I don't know.
In case you don't. That's such an awkward conversation to have, but.
Well, it's better than saying, I know you don't know what my name is.
Yeah.
Even though I've given you vegetables and I have your sando. Like we have obviously an ongoing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think as time passes, it's getting late. It's too late for him to ask what my name is. Which is why I think I should just like say it, because I'm a kid. It doesn't feel too late for me. It does. That's why I never correct people anymore. Oh my god, Claire says it's crazy.
Does she? Yeah. I'm guilty of that.
I'm not telling people how to say your name.
Oh. No, I'm thinking that like I pronounced your name wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't tell whose fault that is though. You know? Because I know I can. What usually happens is that someone like oftentimes doesn't use it until we're really far in. And then by then it feels too weird to correct them about it.
Mhm.
And probably feels too weird to ask. But other people, there's two kinds of people. There's people who avoid saying my name at all costs until they absolutely have to.
Mhm.
And then there's other people who are like get it, and they say it again a few times, and they like really cement it, and then they use it freely
Yeah.
and confidently.
See, I think like I'm just like so awkward. I'm like so afraid of like not getting it immediately.
Mhm.
I don't like work with it,
Mhm.
and then I never get it, and then it's just a terrible situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it'll be rude, like if I don't get it, like if it's perceived to be like a difficult name to understand.
Yeah,
I just think that I should get it immediately, and it's like
okay, but if
if you're
didn't,
not used to it, I don't know. Yeah, work with it.
I don't. If someone doesn't ask me 3 times what my name is, I assume they're not listening,
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
unless I heard them repeat it and I heard them repeat it correctly.
Mm.
If someone's like, "Nice to meet you," I'm like, "Oh, they didn't know that."
Okay.
When people are like, "Sorry, say that again," or like, "What is it?" That to me is always a sign that they're actually listening.
Right. Yeah, they want to get it right. Yeah. Usually when people can't get my name, I just like I'm like, oh, I forget it. It's fine. You don't have to know it.
What did people even say when you said growing up?
Is it better when people for you when people say something different or when they like just like
You mean with confidence or tentatively?
yeah, is it better if they're like what did you say? Like Nita, if is it better for you if they just like barrel
No.
through some
No.
wrong name,
No.
assuming that they're right? Or if they're like, nah,
Definitely that one.
yeah, you like that one better. Okay.
Definitely that one.
Okay.
However, the people who are like, "I'm not even gonna try," or the people who are like, "Never gonna get this," I don't like those people either. That's too
Oh,
far
yeah.
in the extreme of like, I can't.
So I don't know who are these lazy people are who are just like, Jessica.
That's really
I'm like,
lazy.
just read the.
That's weird.
So I've gotten like a lot of that Jessicas. I think people just see the J
Two
and the
S's.
S's and they're like, oh, yes, Jessica. I'm like, no, it's not. And then for some reason, that totally throws people. It's just if it's unfamiliar, they're like, like it's, I don't know. I don't understand. It's completely, it's like exactly what you would think it would be if you just read it out phonetically.
You could say it like how Ishan says it, kind of weird.
Janessa.
He's like Janessa. Like
Janessa.
they all have.
But if someone said Janessa, I would be like,
Janessa.
yeah, Janessa. But most of the time, people are like, Janessa, say.
Insane.
And a lot of people have thought that I'm black because of that.
Because they don't know how to say your name.
Okay.
Cool.
They see the name and they assume it's a black name.
Cool.
Isn't that crazy? There's lots of things too.
There's lots of things to meaning.
To unpack with that.
Yeah.
If they're like, I don't know this name, therefore it's not white. Anyway.
Yeah.
But I like that approach. From now on, that's what I'm going to do.
What?
I'm going to be like, no, this is how you pronounce it. As opposed to me.
I know. For me, I've done that. I've been
Mhm.
that level of exact, and at some point, I just was like, yeah, who cares? So it's like I got lazy. But it does make me wince and cringe, like especially with like people. With Claire, I really should have like the people at the studio really should, like that. That seems like an important one to have done.
Not too late.
And Corey, shit.
It's not too late.
When is a good time? Especially now that I have to unmute myself to do it. I have to be like, hello, hey. Every person on this call. Now seems like a good time for me to set this really old record straight.
Like Corey full on called you something different?
I mean, I think it's full on. He doesn't call me Janessa, but
Yeah.
like he's calling me what he thinks my name is.
Yeah. I mean,
But it's
could
like
be a-
Naya or something. The other thing is that I hate all of the mispronunciations, meaning like I find them ugly, not just wrong.
Yeah.
So that also makes me be like, ugh.
Weird. And you could Instagram message him. You'd be like, hey, I know this is really weird, but
I could.
yeah.
You know, I've been reflecting in quarantine, and what I've come away with is I need to tell you something.
What did you get out of your quarantine? You see my name wrong. Okay.
Okay. We doing it?
The epilogue. What do you think of this epilogue so far?
What do I think of the epilogue?
Mhm.
Seems a lot like the book.
That's it.
Yeah, except it seems a bit more hurried. Because the book didn't seem hurried.
Yeah, it's racing.
Do you have something to say about it?
I mean,
It feels like it.
what I'm gonna be like? I don't understand what's going on. Yeah, that's the point.
I don't know if it's the point.
I was very grateful that
Yeah.
there was an epilogue.
Yeah.
Now I don't know. I'm kind of like, no, I think it's better that stories come to an end.
Mm-hmm. Because?
I kind of wish it had ended at book 15 right now.
Oh, you kind of wish it ended with that ending that you hated?
Yeah, where it was like, he must. What dramatic words. And now, I don't know, everyone's old and just like having marital disputes. It's boring.
It's boring. You know what this is?
You know,
This is the package.
package.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is.
They're like, okay, we've got there, so now who cares?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I just am gonna stay with my mouth shut because if there's one thing I've learned from Tolstoy, it's to shut my goddamn mouth. He taught me what no one in history has been able to teach me. Just by no lack of effort.
That's so great.
But
That he told you to shut up. You wouldn't think a dead writer could do that.
I say shut up to people, and it sounds very harsh to them sometimes.
Uh-huh.
Like I remember saying it to someone, and my mother multiple times has been like, "Don't tell him to shut up," because she takes it quite seriously.
Mhm.
I really like being told to shut up. I find it funny and feel seen.
You're like, oh, that person gets that I can't.
Kind of. It also just like pings the preciousness a bit.
Mm-hmm. For sure. You don't have a problem with self-expression, though.
Yeah.
I mean, for most things. for most things. That we just like talked about how you're like, oh, but I don't correct people.
Yeah.
For most things. But for someone where it like takes a lot for them to say something, saying shut up to that kind of person could be a heavy blow.
I don't usually say shut up to those people. Say shut up to the parents. Because I'd definitely be straight.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I used to have a theory that in old age everyone reversed. This probably doesn't hold anymore. But it was basically that like, if you were quiet the first part of your life, the second you were like, I don't care anymore. And you just let it fly. And if you were the kind of person who talked a lot as a younger person in your old age, you were like, I don't need to do it anymore. I'm good. I can just sit back and enjoy it. I don't know if that's true anymore.
I think it's true for some people. It's true for my grandmother. She hasn't
Yeah,
stopped talking
right?
in years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think probably it's true for some people and not of others.
Just start editing.
Editing what? What's that?
These are comments
Oh,
on a script.
from him.
Yeah. I'm supposed to be doing that too.
And
It's
you haven't
freaking
sent
me
any
out getting all
comments?
these. No, I haven't done it yet.
I could live without an email notification.
Right?
for each.
I need
That's-
to turn off the
I think
notifications.
maybe turn those off. That's terrifying.
It is.
Yeah, I would flip.
Yeah. Ugh. Okay. So the epilogue.
Yeah.
What did we read? We
Everybody has children. Pierre's been out of town,
Mm.
and Sasha's staying with Mary and the farmer. What's his name? Nicholas. Nicholas is just like obsessed with farming and surfs.
Yeah, so Nicholas is fine. He was in debt, but now he's great.
Yeah, and his wife's a little bit something.
Right. So obviously they got married, Nicholas and Mary. And it was a little unclear whether like that's how Nicholas managed to clean up his debts.
Oh yeah. I didn't think there was any confusion about that even going into it. What do you mean?
There was some sentence about like through no sale of his wife's property.
Yeah.
But what does that mean?
That means they didn't have to sell anything they owned in order to pay for them.
Yeah, but it's right.
Just means they have a shit ton of money.
Yeah. So like the estates make money or something, and it's through that he was able to pay off everything.
Or
Anyway.
literally from the money in the couch.
You think they have just like money lying around, or is everything in?
No, I don't think I didn't. When I said literally the
No,
couch,
I don't. I know
didn't
not
mean literally the couch.
But I don't think they have I don't know if they have savings. Oh my god, I don't know if they have savings. I'm just talking about lords and ladies, I guess. I'm just thinking Downton Abbey. Do they have savings, or is it just like
That's just the
it's a
understanding of money.
business basically that you're running?
No, people have like allowances, you know?
That's true.
Like so and so gets 17 pounds a year.
That's true.
Yeah, they have an income. Like,
Why couldn't I be that?
I don't know where it's coming from, but why couldn't you have an income?
Yeah, why can't I be a trust fund baby?
You can make a trust fund.
I don't want to make one. I just want to have one.
Oh, you do?
And then be like, yeah, life is so hard for me because everything's been handed to me.
Yeah.
And so it's really difficult.
You want that to be your difficult?
Yeah, I do. Um. Anyway, but maybe Nicholas learned some hard lessons through his father, and now it sounds like he's pretty good
He is good.
at keeping those books tight.
Yeah. He makes a lot of money,
Mhm.
which is the way in which we sort of like forgive him for using Mary's money for his debts.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
Like now he's blameless because look, he's made up for it by being enterprising and engaged and hardworking and all that stuff.
Mhm.
I don't know how to describe where Mary's at. It's such a weird place.
She's like a different person right now.
Well, she's pregnant.
She's pregnant a lot, apparently. I think she's on her third child. I think they only have 2.
Yeah, maybe. Natasha and them have 3.
Oh,
Someone's
it's
got
that?
3. I just remember a sentence about it, but I think it
Oh.
might have been Pierre and Natasha.
Okay. Yeah, anyway, there's kids.
We fast forwarded to like their midlife weirdness.
Maybe they're like 30 now,
Yeah,
which is midlife, right?
maybe that's why you're like, or are they just like having brunch together? This is not interesting.
Well, last night you were like, someone's gonna die.
Yeah, I'm just like,
It's too happy.
Yeah, because I feel like we're not just gonna keep going with no pain in sight.
No, there's definitely gonna be some kind of pain.
Yeah, so
What
I'm
if it's something stupid? I'm gonna be so angry.
something stupid.
Like just something
What qualifies as stupid?
as like, oh, Natasha dies in childbirth or something.
Why was that stupid? Why would that be stupid? First of all, I'm just trying to understand your usage of the word stupid.
Because it's so unnecessary. It's like we got through the whole book for her to just like die. And I also hate when women die in childbirth for obvious reasons, but also it just feels like there's no reason for it.
Someone died in childbirth already. In this book.
Oh yeah, the little princess.
Remember her? Almost like she never existed,
It really is.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Or upper lip.
It's almost like the way they treat her is almost like the way that you would treat a first girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Except they were married and had a child together.
She's dead.
Yeah. Did I miss anything?
No. Not that I noticed.
Sonia's still there. Just hanging around.
Yeah, and she and Mary have tension despite everyone's best efforts, is what it sounds like. By everyone, I mean Sonia and Mary.
Yeah, that's
It's obviously not anyone else.
They're really trying.
Who gives a shit about anything going on with them?
Okay, so we're at chapter 10. Natasha had married in the early spring of 1813, and in 1820 in the early spring. It's very soon thereafter. And in 1820 already had 3 daughters, besides a son. She's been busy. For whom she had longed and whom she was now nursing. She had grown stouter and broader, so that it was difficult to recognize in this robust, motherly woman the slim, lively Natasha of former days. So that's not what I pictured would happen. But okay. Her features were more defined and had a calm, soft.
He has to fatten her up before he kills her.
That's what it is. It's like she's not hot anymore, so it's okay. Her features were more defined and had a calm, soft, and serene expression. In her face, there was none of the ever-glowing animation that had formerly burned there and constituted its charm. Now her face and body were often all that one saw, and her soul was not visible at all. All that struck the eye was a strong, handsome, and fertile woman. The old fire very rarely kindled in her face now. That happened only when, as was the case that day, her husband returned home, or a sick child was convalescent, or when she and Countess Mary spoke of Prince Andrew. She never mentioned him to her husband, who she imagined was jealous of Prince Andrew's memory. Or on the rare occasions when something happened to induce her to sing, a practice she had quite abandoned since her marriage. At the rare moments when the old fire did kindle in her handsome, fully developed body, she was even more attractive than in former days.
Such an awkward paragraph.
How come?
I don't know. It just makes me feel really weird.
It's like the prom queen got fat.
It's still something that feels very misogynistic about it. I don't know. What was I thinking? What do you think about her?
There's no fire in her anymore.
Yeah, fuck you. I don't know. There's something that bugs me about it. Okay. Since their marriage, Natasha and her husband had lived in Moscow and Petersburg on their estate near Moscow, or with her mother, that is to say, in Nicholas's house. The young Countess Bezukova was not often seen in society, and those who met her there were not pleased with her and found her neither attractive nor amiable. Not that Natasha liked solitude. She did know whether she liked it or not. What?
She did not know.
She did not know whether she liked it or not. She even thought that she did not. But with her pregnancies, her confinements, the nursing of her children, and sharing every moment of her husband's life, she had demands on her time which could be satisfied only by renouncing society. All who had known Natasha before her marriage wondered at the change in her as at something extraordinary. Only the old countess, with her maternal instinct, had realized that all Natasha's outbursts had been due to her need of children and a husband.
Yeah, that's the problem with women. Just shut them up and put a baby in them.
I couldn't breathe. As she herself had once exclaimed at Otrogno, not so much in fun as in earnest, and her mother was now surprised at the surprise expressed by those who had never understood Natasha, and she kept saying that she had always known that Natasha would make an exemplary wife and mother.
Only she lets her love of her husband and children overflow all bounds, said the Countess, so that it even becomes absurd.
Natasha did not follow the golden rule advocated by clever folk, especially by the French, which says that a girl should not let herself go when she marries, should not neglect her accomplishments, should be even more careful of her appearance than when she was unmarried, and should fascinate her husband as much as she did before he became her husband. Natasha, on the contrary, had at once abandoned all her witchery, of which her singing had been an unusually powerful part. I'm sorry, she sings to, get laid?
The siren song. Could it be that she wasn't a witch? It's just people were attracted to her.
And that she singing?
That she was a good singer.
Okay. She gave it up just because it was so powerfully seductive. Since fucking when?
Because it's not proper for it. You can't have people falling in love with you.
Wait, when was it powerfully seductive ever?
It was.
When? Denisov?
Yeah.
Okay. One guy.
One guy.
Oh, please. One is nothing. With her, you'd have to find at least 6 for me to admit that it was a pattern.
Mm. mean, I think people like I'm sure that she had admirers, but you're allowed to have fucking. I don't know. That's not a reason to give up singing.
It's horrendous. She took no pains with her manners, or with delicacy of speech, or with her toilet, or to show herself to her husband in her most becoming attitudes, or to avoid inconveniencing him by being too exacting. She acted in contradiction to all those rules. She felt that the instinct allurements instinct had formerly taught her to use would now be merely. She felt that the allurements instinct had formerly taught her to use would now be merely ridiculous in the eyes of her husband, to whom she had from the first moment given herself up entirely, that is, with her whole soul, leaving no corner of it hidden from him. What soul? She felt that her unity with her husband was not maintained by the poetic feelings that had attracted him to her, but by something else, indefinite but firm as the bond between her own body and soul.
You know, like I don't even know what that would look like if men were to do the same thing. It's like I was very selective when I sang, so I'm gonna get that out. Would men be like so? I'm just looking at like an obvious thing. Men were like, women really like it that I make money, so now I'm gonna make less money because it's unseemly. To fluff out her curls, put on fashionable dresses, and sing romantic songs to fascinate her husband would have seemed as strange as to adorn herself to attract herself. To adorn herself for others might perhaps have been agreeable, she did not know, but she had no time at all for it. The chief reason for devoting no time either to singing, to dress, or to choosing her words was that she really had no time to spare for these things.
We know that man has the faculty of being completely absorbed in a subject, however trivial it may be, and that there is no subject so trivial that it will not grow to infinite proportion if one's entire attention is devoted to it.
The subject which wholly engrossed Natasha's attention was her family. That is, her husband, whom she had to keep so that he should belong entirely to her and to the home, and the children whom she had to bear, bring into the world, nurse, and bring up.
And the deeper she penetrated, not with her mind only, but with her whole soul, her whole being, into the subject that absorbed her, the larger did that subject grow, and the weaker and more inadequate did her powers appear, so that she concentrated them wholly on that one thing, and yet was unable to accomplish all that she considered necessary.
There were then, as now, conversations and discussions about women's rights, the relations of husband and wife, and their freedom and rights, though these themes were not yet termed questions as they are now. But these topics were not merely uninteresting to Natasha, she positively did not understand them.
These questions, then as now, existed only for those who see nothing in marriage but the pleasure married people get from one another, that is, only the beginnings of marriage and not its whole significance, which lies in the family.
Discussions and questions of that kind, which are like the question of how to get the greatest gratification from one's dinner, did not then and do not now exist for those for whom the purpose of a dinner is the nourishment it affords, and the purpose of marriage is the family.
If the purpose of dinner is to nourish the body, a man who eats two dinners at once may perhaps get more enjoyment, but will not attain his purpose, for his stomach will not digest the two dinners.
If the purpose of marriage is the family, the person who wishes to have many wives or husbands may perhaps obtain much pleasure, but in that case will not have a family.
If the purpose of food is nourishment and the purpose of marriage is the family, the whole question resolves itself into not eating more than one can digest and not having more wives or husbands than are needed for the family. That is, one wife or one husband. Natasha needed a husband. A husband was given to her, and he gave her a family. And she not only saw no need of any other or better husband, but as all the powers of her soul were intent on serving the husband and family, she could not imagine and saw no interest in imagining how it would be if things were different.
Natasha did not care for society in general, but prized the more the society of her relatives, Countess Mary and her brother, her mother, and Sonia. She valued the company of those to whom she could come striding disheveled from the nursery in her dressing gown, and with joyful face show a yellow instead of a green stain on baby's napkin, and from whom she could hear reassuring words to the effect that baby was much better.
To such an extent had Natasha let herself go that the way she dressed and did her hair, her ill-chosen words, and her jealousy, she was jealous of Sonia, of the governess, and of every pretty woman, and every woman, pretty or plain, were habitual subjects of jest to those about her. The general opinion was that Pierre was under his wife's thumb, which was really true. From the very first days of their married life, Natasha had announced her demands. Pierre was greatly surprised by his wife's view, to him a perfectly novel one, that every moment of his life belonged to her and to the family. His wife's demands astonished him, but they also flattered him, and he submitted to them.
Pierre's subjection consisted in the fact that he not only dared not flirt with, but dared not even speak smilingly to any other woman, did not dare dine at the club as a pastime, did not dare spend money on a whim, and did not dare absent himself for any length of time except on business, in which his wife included his intellectual pursuits, which she did not in the least understand, but to which she attributed great importance. To make up for this, at home, Pierre had the right to regulate his life and that of the whole family exactly as he chose. At home, Natasha placed herself in the position of a slave to her husband, and the whole household went on tiptoe when he was occupied. That is, was reading or writing in his study. Pierre had but to show a partiality for anything to get just what he liked done always. He had only to express a wish, and Natasha would jump up and run to fulfill it.
The entire household was governed according to Pierre's supposed orders, that is, by his wishes, which Natasha tried to guess. Their way of life and place of residence, their acquaintances and ties, Natasha's occupations, the children's upbringing, were all selected not merely with regard to Pierre's expressed wishes, but to what Natasha, from the thoughts he expressed in conversation, supposed his wishes to be. And she deduced the essentials of his wishes quite correctly, and having once arrived at them, clung to them tenaciously. When Pierre himself wanted to change his mind, she would fight him with his own weapons.
Thus, in a time of trouble, ever memorable to him after the birth of their first child, he was delicate. When they had to change the wet nurse 3 times and Natasha fell ill from despair, Pierre one day told her of Rousseau's view, with which he quite agreed, that to have a wet nurse is unnatural and harmful. When her next baby was born, despite the opposition of her mother, the doctors, and even of her husband himself, who were all vigorously opposed to her nursing her baby herself, a thing then unheard of and considered injurious, she insisted on having her own way, and after that nursed all her babies herself.
It very often happened that in a moment of irritation, husband and wife would have a dispute, but long afterwards, Pierre, to his surprise and delight, would find in his wife's ideas and actions the very thought against which she had argued, but divested of everything superfluous that in the excitement of the dispute he had added when expressing his opinion.
After 7 years of marriage, Pierre had the joyous and firm consciousness that he was not a bad man, and he felt this because he saw himself reflected in his wife. He felt the good and bad within himself inextricably mingled and overlapping, but only what was really good in him was reflected in his wife. All that was not quite good was rejected, and this was not the result of logical reasoning, but was a direct and mysterious reflection.
I do not know how to feel right now.
No, it's not the example of a happy marriage. Yeah.
I don't know how to digest that. Can I keep going?
Yeah. Chapter 11. 2 months previously, when Pierre was already staying with the Rostovs, he had received a letter from Prince Theodore, asking him to come to Petersburg to confer on some important questions that were being discussed there by a society of which Pierre was one of the principal founders.
On reading that letter, she always read her husband's letters. Natasha herself suggested that he should go to Petersburg, that though she would feel his absence very acutely. She attributed immense importance to all her husband's intellectual and abstract interests, though she did not understand them, and she always dreaded being a hindrance to him in such matters. To Pierre's timid look of inquiry after reading the letter, she replied by asking him to go, but to fix a definite date for his return. He was given 4 weeks' leave of absence.
By her?
Yes.
At least she's the boss, I guess.
I can't tell what's going on.
It sounds like she's the boss, but she pretends like he's the boss, and she's
Right.
like, "You want this, right?"
Right.
And then he's like, "I guess I do." And then she like tries to make it happen. Okay. Ever since that leave of absence had expired, more than fortnight before, Natasha had been in a constant state of alarm, depression, and irritability.
Denisov, now a general on the retired list and much dissatisfied with the present state of affairs, had arrived during that fortnight. He looked at Natasha with sorrow and surprise, as at a bad likeness of a person once dear. A dull, dejected look, random replies, and talk about the nursery was all he saw and heard from his former enchantress.
Natasha was sad and irritable all that time, especially when her mother, brother, Sonia, or Countess Mary, in their efforts to console her, tried to excuse Pierre and suggested reasons for his delay in returning.
It's all nonsense, all rubbish, those discussions which lead to nothing and all those idiotic societies, Natasha declared of the very affairs of the immense importance of which she firmly believed.
And she would go to the nursery to nurse Petya, her only boy. No one else. I don't know why I'm so like, oh, she named him after, like, why don't we just name our children after dead relatives? It's
And
really
living
sad.
ones.
And living ones? Natasha. Okay. Right. You're right.
It's just using the same 7 names over and over again.
Yeah.
That's what we seem like we're doing.
Right. No one else could tell her anything so comforting or so reasonable as this little 3-month-old creature when he lay at her breast and she was conscious of the movement of his lips and the snuffling of his little nose. That creature said, "You are angry, you are jealous, you would like to pay him out, you are afraid. But here am I, and I am he," and that was unanswerable. It was more than true.
During that fortnight of anxiety, Natasha resorted to the baby for comfort so often and fussed over him so much that she overfed him and he fell ill. She was terrified by his illness, and yet that was just what she needed. While attending to him, she bore the anxiety about her husband more easily.
She was nursing her boy when the sound of Pierre's sleigh was heard at the front door, and the old nurse, knowing how to please her mistress, entered the room inaudibly, but hurriedly. Inaudibly. And Natasha punches her. But hurriedly and with a beaming face.
Has he come? Natasha asked quickly in a whisper, afraid to move lest she rouse the dozing baby.
"He's come, ma'am," whispered the nurse.
The blood rushed to Natasha's face and her feet involuntarily moved, but she could not jump up and run out. The baby again opened his eyes and looked at her. "You're here?" he seemed to be saying, and again lazily smacked his lips.
Cautiously withdrawing her breast, Natasha rocked him a little, handed him to the nurse, and went with rapid steps toward the door. But at the door she stopped, as if her conscience reproached her for having in her joy left the child too soon, and she glanced round. The nurse, with raised elbows, was lifting the infant over the rail of his cot.
"Go, ma'am, don't worry, go," she whispered, smiling with the kind of familiarity that grows up between a nurse and her mistress.
Natasha ran with light footsteps to the anteroom.
Denisov, who had come out of the study into the dancing room with his pipe, now for the first time recognized the old Natasha. A flood of brilliant, joyful light poured from her transfigured face.
"He's come," she exclaimed as she ran past, and Denisov felt that he too was delighted that Pierre, whom he did not much care for, had returned.
On reaching the vestibule, Natasha saw a tall figure in a fur coat unwinding his scarf. It's really he has come," she said to herself, and rushing at him, embraced him, pressed his head to her breast, and then pushed him back and gazed at his ruddy, happy face covered with hoarfrost. "Yes, it is happy and contented."
Then all at once she remembered the tortures of suspense she had experienced for the last fortnight, and the joy that had lit up her face vanished. She frowned and overwhelmed Pierre with a torrent of reproaches and angry words.
"Yes, it's all very well for you. You are pleased. You've had a good time. But what about me? You might at least have shown consideration for the children. I'm nursing and my milk was spoiled. Petya was at death's door, but you were enjoying yourself." "Yes, enjoying."
Pierre knew he was not to blame, for he could not have come sooner. He knew this outburst was unseemly and would blow over in a minute or two. Above all, he knew that he himself was bright and happy.
Above all else.
Yes, above all else, but I am happy. He wanted to smile, but dared not even think of doing so. He made a piteous, frightened face and bent down.
"I could not on my honor, but how is Petya?"
"All right now, come along. I wonder you're not ashamed. If only you could see what I was like without you, how I suffered."
"You're well."
Come, she said, not letting go of his arm, and they went to their rooms.
When Nicholas and his wife came to look for Pierre, he was in the nursery holding his baby son, who was again awake on his huge right palm and dandling him.
Dandling?
I don't know what that means. A blissful, bright smile was fixed on the baby's broad face with its toothless, open mouth. The storm was long since over, and there was bright, joyous sunshine on Natasha's face as she gazed tenderly at her husband and child.
It literally just means like moving. your child in an affectionate way.
Oh. Like dangling, only with more attention.
Dandelion. Is this like this? Like this? I don't know. And have you talked everything well over with Prince Theodore? She asked.
Yes, capital E.
You see, he holds it up. She met the baby's head. But how he did frighten me. You seen the princess? Is it true she's in love with that?
Yes, just fancy.
At that moment, Nicholas and Countess Mary came in. Pierre, with the baby on his hand, stooped, kissed them, and replied to their inquiries. But in spite of much that was interesting and had to be discussed, the baby with the little cap on its unsteady head evidently absorbed all his attention.
How sweet, said Countess Mary, looking at and playing with the baby. Now, Nicholas, she added, turning to her husband, I can't understand how it is you don't see the charm of these delicious novels.
I don't and can't. What? I don't.
Is not interested.
Replied Nicholas, looking coldly at the baby. A lump of flesh. Come along, Pierre.
And yet he's such an affectionate father. Is he? He only likes Natasha.
Yeah, that's it. He's like, he only likes his children.
No,
He's
he only likes one of his children.
What?
Not the boy.
Right.
You think it's awkward having a kid named Andrew in the house?
Imagine looking at a child coldly.
It's weird. And yet he's such an affectionate father, said Countess Mary, vindicating her husband, but only after they are a year old or so.
Right?
So he just is freaked out by newborns.
It's just like,
He's like, too soon.
they're messy. I don't like it.
Yeah.
No, but he's a farmer. I don't get it. Now, Pierre nurses them splendidly, said Natasha. He says his hand is just made for a baby's seat. Can you really do that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Just look.
Only not for this, Pierre suddenly exclaimed with a laugh and shifting the baby he gave him to them. What?
Only not for this. I don't know.
That's weird.
I don't know.
Just not right now.
Not for, maybe the baby pooped. Maybe that's the joke.
There's jokes now? He's making jokes?
Yeah. You know, he's a funny guy.
Is he?
Well, now that he's married, yeah, he's like, cause now he's like, I'm a good guy, so he can make dad jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get it, guys? I think the Pierre says that to his children.
Yeah, I think he does.
Guys, you get it? Are we going to read chapter 12?
Yeah, let's read one more, okay?
Okay.
Chapter 12. As in every large household, there were at Bald Hills several perfectly distinct worlds which merged into one harmonious whole, though each retained its own peculiarities and made concessions to the others. Every event, joyful or sad, that took place in that house was important to all these worlds, but each had its own special reasons to rejoice or grieve over that occurrence, independently of the others.
For instance, Pierre's return was a joyful and important event, and they all felt it to be so.
The servants, the most reliable judges of their masters, because they judge not by their conversation or expressions of feeling, but by their acts and way of life, were glad of Pierre's return because they knew that when he was there, Count Nicholas would cease going every day to attend to the estate, and would be in better spirits and temper, and also because they would all receive handsome presents for the holidays.
The children and their governesses were glad of Pierre's return because no one else drew them into the social life of the household as he did. He alone could play on the clavichord that Echo says his only piece, to which, as he said, all possible dances could be danced, and they felt sure there's no good dancers in the house. And they felt sure he had brought presents for them all.
He just knows one song.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Young Nicholas, now a slim lad of 15, delicate and intelligent, with curly light brown hair and beautiful eyes, was delighted because Uncle Pierre, as he called him, was the object of his rapturous and passionate affection. No one had instilled into him this love for Pierre, whom he saw only occasionally. Countess Mary, who had brought him up, had done her utmost to make him love her husband as she loved him. And little Nicholas did love his uncle, but loved him with just a shade of contempt. Pierre, however, he adored. He did not want to be a Nazar or a Knight of St. George like his uncle Nicholas. He wanted to be learned.
So I'm
wise.
sorry, young Nicholas is Andrew's kid.
Yeah, wait, let me.
I'm forgetting Andrew's child's name, but he has to be.
Nicholas. Yeah. Right, so it's his uncle. They're both his uncles. Yes.
That's really inconvenient. That he's named Nicholas and his mother married a Nicholas.
Oh, right. Inconvenient. I mean, they all have the same.
Like he's like, oh, my new dad, Nicholas.
Right?
It's not his new dad. He
Yeah.
doesn't have any parents.
No. But it would kind of
I'm
be.
very late to this party, whatever it is.
But like Mary kind of would be his mother.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, he's never had a mother.
Who was his mother? Oh.
Exactly.
Exactly.
He wanted to be learned, wise, and kind like Pierre. In Pierre's presence, his face always shone with pleasure, and he flushed and was breathless when Pierre spoke to him.
Oh.
That's just an expression, or people
He's
really like.
15. He's 15 and breathless.
Yeah, seriously.
I guess 15 is the new 6 in this. Right?
Yeah. He did not miss a single word he uttered, and would afterwards, with Dessalles or with himself, recall and reconsider the meaning of everything Pierre had said. Pierre's past life and his unhappiness prior to 1812, of which young Nicholas had formed a vague poetic picture from some words he had overheard. His adventures in Moscow, his captivity, Platon Paratiev, of whom he had heard from Pierre, his love for Natasha, of whom the lad was also particularly fond, and especially Pierre's friendship with the father, whom Nicholas could not remember. All this made, of course he can't remember.
Because you guys never met.
Pretty much.
He was just there that one time. He was the one who, on your birth, had that liberated air about him.
Yeah.
Like he was finally free.
Yeah. All this made Pierre, in his eyes, a hero and a saint.
My. From broken remarks about Natasha and his father, from the emotion with which Pierre spoke of that dead father, and from the careful, reverent tenderness with which Natasha spoke of him, the boy, who was only just beginning to guess what love is, derived the notion that his father had loved Natasha and when dying had left her to his friend. But the father, whom the boy did not remember, appeared to him a divinity who could not be pictured, and of whom he never thought without a swelling heart and tears of sadness and rapture. So the boy also was happy that Pierre had arrived. Jesus.
The guests welcomed Pierre because he always helped to enliven and unite any company he was in.
That's weird. It's like literally the opposite
Of who he used to be.
of where he came from. Yeah. The grown-up members of the family, not to mention his wife, were pleased to have back a friend whose presence made life run more smoothly and peacefully. Why is he saying 19 different ways everyone's glad he's back?
Because we really need to get it. Do you guys get it? Pierre's a really good guy. He's really good. They really like him.
Are people happy that he's home now? Are people happy that he came back?
Yeah, they are.
Who is?
Because he brought presents.
And who is and how?
Like all household members?
Like, why is everyone individually happy that he's back?
Well, let me tell you about Nicholas. Okay. So Nicholas is really happy because he really likes him.
Which Nicholas?
Young Nicholas. Okay. Old Nicholas is happy too, but we're going to get to him later.
I thought we already got to him.
No. Like, he was there, but we haven't really gone into depth about how happy he is. He's happy. We kind of did. He's happy because now he doesn't have to work so much.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because, like, he's been having to attend to the estate by himself, and when that happens, he gets a temper and he beats everyone. So everyone's really happy about that too.
Oh my god. Beats everyone. Jesus. That's horrible. The grown-up members of the family, not to mention his wife, were pleased to have back a friend who's we already read that. That's why it's feeling
No,
so
we didn't.
fucking
Oh, you
repetitive.
just read that, right?
Yeah.
You're right. The old ladies. You know who else was really happy? The old ladies.
The ones who've been there in the back of the room this whole time.
Belova. Wait.
Belova. We're gonna find out that Natasha's had an old lady just like there the whole
I
time.
think she has. Wait, is Mademoiselle Bourienne still there?
I don't know. She's not been mentioned.
No, but I think she must be.
Yeah.
With the architect. I don't know. The old ladies were pleased with the presents he brought them, and especially that Natasha would now be herself again.
Pierre felt on different outlooks of these various worlds and made haste to satisfy all their expectations.
It feels like
Oh my
the
god,
ending
Belova.
of see? It feels like the ending of It's a Wonderful Life. Though the most absent-minded and forgetful of men, Pierre, with the aid of a list his wife drew up, had now bought everything, not forgetting his mother and brother-in-law's commissions, nor the dress material for a present to Belova, nor toys for his wife's nephews. In the early days of his marriage, it had seemed strange to him that his wife should expect him not to forget to procure all the things he undertook to buy, and he had been taken aback by her serious annoyance when on his first trip he forgot everything. But in time he grew used to this demand. Knowing that Natasha asked nothing for herself and gave him commissions for others only when he himself had offered to undertake them, he now found an unexpected and childlike pleasure in this purchase of presents for everyone in the house, and never forgot anything. If he now incurred Natasha's censure, it was only for buying too many and too expensive things. To her other defects, as most people thought them, but which to Pierre were qualities of untidiness and neglect of herself, she now added stinginess. Wait, what? She's too stingy?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, Natasha.
She's stingy and also fat.
So everyone loves Pierre.
Yep. Everyone's really happy he's back.
And they're like, this broad.
But they're like, I'm so happy Pierre is back because it renders Natasha tolerable.
And wait. So Natasha writes out a list of what to get everyone. Like, no one would get presents without Natasha, but Natasha is the stingy one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Why you gotta be like that, Natasha?
She spoils everything. She spoils all the presents she wants people to have.
Yeah. Right.
From the time that Pierre began life as a family man on a footing entailing heavy expenditure, he had noticed to his surprise that he spent only half as much as before, and that his affairs, which had been in disorder of late, chiefly because of his first wife's debts, had begun to improve.
Life was cheaper because it was circumscribed. The most expensive luxury, the kind of life that can be changed at any moment, was no longer his, nor did he wish for it. He felt that his way of life had now been settled once for all till death, and that to change it was not in his power, and so that way of life proved economical.
With a merry smile, that's really sad, but I feel like that's still true. With a merry smiling face, Pierre was sorting his purchases.
What do you think of this? Said he, unrolling a piece of stuff like a shopman. A piece of stuff.
A piece of stuff.
What does that mean?
Ishan goes, I have stuff to do in the kitchen. I have stuff to do. I have stuff to do. He's like a shopman. Natasha was sitting opposite to him with her eldest daughter on her lap, turned her sparkling eyes swiftly from her husband to the things he showed her.
That's for Belova? Okay, we get it. Or is he just like making
He's reminding
amends?
us that Belova
He's making amends for Belova.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like Tolstoy met some woman who was like, I want to be in your book. And then he's like, okay, I'll write you in. You've been there the whole time.
Yeah, I can't write in a new character because there's just really no space for that right now.
Yeah.
But what I could do is write someone in, but like talk about her in such a way that makes them feel like idiots because they didn't notice she was there the whole time.
Yeah. It's our fault.
Yeah.
She's always there, of course.
Yeah.
We just weren't paying attention.
Yeah. So the Sixth Sense.
That's for Belova. Excellent. She felt the quality of the material. It was a ruble in Arshin, I suppose.
Pierre told her the price.
Too dear, Natasha remarked. How pleased the children will be, and Mamma too. Only you need not have bought me this, she added, unable to suppress a smile as she gazed admiringly at a gold comb set with pearls, of a kind then just coming into fashion.
Adele tempted me. She kept on telling me to buy it, returned Pierre.
When am I to wear it? And Natasha stuck it in her coil of hair. When I take little Masha into society, perhaps they will be fashionable again by then. Well, let's go now.
And collecting the presents, they went first to the nursery and then to the old countess's rooms.
The countess was sitting with her companion Belova. Where was she sitting? See, she said the whole time. Was sitting with her companion Belova, playing grand patience as usual.
When has she ever been playing patience with some woman in the house? When is there ever been a woman there?
Always. You just don't care. When Pierre and Natasha came into the drawing room with parcels under their arms.
The countess was now over 60, was quite grey. Oh, she's now over 60, wow. Was quite grey and wore a cap with a frill that surrounded her face. Her face had shriveled, her upper lip had sunk in. She sounds like a kitten, and her eyes were dim.
After the deaths of her son and husband in such rapid succession, she felt herself a being accidentally forgotten in this world and left without aim or object for her existence. She ate, drank, slept, or kept awake, but did not live. Life gave her no new impressions. She wanted nothing from life but tranquility, and that tranquility only death could give her. But until death came, she had to go on living, that is, to use her vital forces. A peculiarity one sees in very young children and very old people was particularly evident in her. Her life had no external aims, only a need to exercise her various functions and inclinations was apparent. She had to eat, sleep, think, speak, weep, work, give vent to her anger, and so on, merely because she had a stomach, a brain, muscles, nerves, and a liver. She did these things not under any external impulse as people in the full vigor of life do, when behind the purpose for which they strive, that of exercising their functions remains unnoticed.
This is so funny.
She talked only because she... How come?
Because he's literally describing someone living even though they're not interested in living.
Right.
By, like, he was basically saying, like, it ended up looking like a life, but not because she was living.
She wasn't living. She's like, she's alive.
And she laughed and cried and thought and slept and...
Right.
But it wasn't because she was alive.
Yeah.
This is very weird.
She cried. She talked only because she physically needed to exercise her tongue and lungs. Maybe.
What do you mean, maybe?
I don't know anyone who's like, let me just talk right now because I'm really like, my tongue's really out of shape right now.
No, it's more like she has them.
Because
so
she
might as
has
well
it, so
use
it's like,
them.
I gotta use that.
Yeah.
She don't got it.
Yeah, I know. He's describing someone living a life.
I know, yeah. She cried as a child does because her nose had to be cleared, and so on. What for people in their full vigor is an aim was for her evidently merely a pretext.
Thus, in the morning, especially if she had eaten anything rich the day before, she felt a need of being angry and would choose as the handiest pretext Belova's deafness.
She would begin to say something to her in a low tone from the other end of the room.
Oh my god.
Oh God.
She's fucking baiting her into acting deaf and then getting mad about it.
So
She's
she's
like,
like,
I'm sorry, can you not hear me? Is it because you're so fucking old and stupid that you can't? What did you do?
I think that's it.
Okay. Seems a little warmer today, my dear. She would murmur. She's entrapping her.
And when Belova replied, "Oh yes, they've come," she would mutter angrily, "Oh Lord, how stupid!"
Oh my god. Another pretext would be her snuff, which would seem too dry or too damp or not rubbed fine enough. After these fits of irritability, her face would grow yellow, and her maids knew by infallible systems when Belova would again be deaf. The snuff damp, and the Countess's face yellow. What? Did you understand what I just read?
Wait, so her snuff isn't nice enough.
So the symptoms are when she's deaf, when the snuff is damp, or when her face is yellow. Got
And
it.
then she has a fit. Her face.
Just as she
Yeah,
needed
okay.
to work off her spleen, so she had sometimes to exercise her still existing faculty of thinking.
Mhm.
And the pretext for that was a game of patience. When she needed to cry, the deceased count would be the pretext. When she wanted to be agitated, Nicholas and his health would be the pretext. And when she felt a need to speak spitefully, the pretext would be Countess Mary. When her vocal organs needed exercise, which was usually towards 7 o'clock when she had had an after dinner rest in a darkened room, the pretext would be the retelling of the same stories over and over again to the same audience.
The old lady's condition was understood by the whole household, though no one ever spoke of it, and they all made every possible effort to satisfy her needs. Only by a rare glance exchanged with a sad smile between Nicholas, Pierre, Natasha, and Countess Mary was the common understanding of her condition expressed.
But
Her
those
condition.
her condition. But those glances expressed something more. They said that she had played her part in life, that what they now saw was not her whole self, that we must all become like her, and that they were glad to yield to her, to restrain themselves for this once precious being. What? This once precious being, formerly as full of life as themselves, but now so much to be pitied. Memento mori, said those glances. Jesus.
That's dark. Is it mine?
Hmm.
Oh. Only the really heartless, the stupid ones of that household, and the little children failed to understand this and avoided her. She's a grandmama. She got life. She got life, yeah. She's only 60.
No, she's dead. She's dead woman walking. Dead countess walking.
Seriously.
It's very strange. I think he just means that like her existence is perfunctory because her
Mhm.
heart's broken. Which I get.
The grandchildren,
I know.
at the very least. She heard so much that the family would be all right and that the finances and all that, like, is fine now.
Yeah, but she lost her husband and her son.
Yeah. Get over it.
But you have the money.
You got your money. Why are you mean to Princess Mary?
Not clear. Not clear that. Not at all clear that.
Strange. Okay.
Okay.
I feel like I wanted to say something, but now I can't remember.
Is Rebelova.
Favorite character in the book? That's what I'm gonna say from now on. Favorite character. Belova. And then people are gonna be like, "Who's that?" I'll be like, "You didn't notice Belova sitting there in the corner?"
She's overlooked by people
Yeah.
only if they're dicks. I was amazed that you remembered her name from yesterday. I was like, that old lady, and you were like, Beloba.
Yeah, because it's like beloved.
Oh.
I remember thinking that. Beloba. Gonna name my child that.
You are?
Probably not.
Probably not.
That makes me think of my sister too.
Naming.
When my sister has children, I am never to know. Will she ever tell me the name of the children?
Imagine if, like, well into their lives, she's like, don't say.
I'm not allowed to know because I will pass judgment on the name.
Yeah.
So
She just wants you to pass judgment when it's too late.
no, I think that will still be bad. So you might be right. I might
Obviously,
never
it'll
get
still
to
be
know.
bad.
Yeah, right? Like the blow will still come, whether it's
But she'll be more
pre-baby
distracted.
or post.
She'll be more distracted. You know?
Not necessarily.
You're right.
This is really funny to me now, actually.
What?
Like, why have I always been so worried about the power that I hold over my sister?
Why have you been so worried about it?
Yeah. If all it takes is for me to like say a few words, I can use that to my evil gains.
I mean, this is true in life in general.
That's true.
What you say and do matters.
Mm.
I know. You know?
What you say and do matters. I'm gonna go give blood
Don't do
right
that.
now.
Nobody wants you. Don't submit people. Don't subject people to your blood.
Ugh.
Like, just keep it inside.
If a vampire were to attack me.
Ah,
Ugh.
ridiculous. For some reason, because there's curfew and I'm feeling stressy and panicky, I want to order things for the first time in a while.
Oh my goodness.
I guess the last 3 weeks I did order once I got dumplings.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty about it. Just pretty big deal for you.
What? Not ordering.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of my anxiety flows into ordering food. That's what it actually is. It's not that I have insatiable impulses or not. My appetite is not implacable.
It's still pretty healthy.
What is?
Like when you order food, it's not like
Sort of. The last few months, I feel like I've gone a bit like whatever. Like I don't really refrain from ordering burger lords that much. I don't know actually. Can't tell. Remember when I said I didn't think I had a purpose and you were like, that's not true?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I just can't remember what I actually am or do. I don't know if I have been regulating. Probably to some extent.
mysteriously.
I've been thinking about the Oreos the last week. I know they're not there anymore. But I'm starting.
No comment.
What?
No comment.
I haven't even.
Yeah, because they're not there, okay?
Okay.
Because you're finally seeing results.
Finally. Again, that's another thing. I can't tell if like there have been this whole time or if it just like, yeah, I don't know. Or if cameras are just lies.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Like it feels to me like you can take before pictures today and after pictures yesterday. Like it all fucking seems kind of the same to me. The one I just sent you was the one that I was like, okay, this looks like what I imagine I want it to look like, but it feels like coincidence. And if I got Burger Lords or Donut Friend, that tomorrow I'd wake up and go upside picture. I can't tell to what extent anything is actually happening.
Yeah. It's hard. It's just like, when you plant something, you can't be digging up the seeds every day to be looking at them.
Yeah.
Overlords.
Anyway, nothing's open.
Right. You really want things when you can't have it.
Yeah. Everybody or just me?
I mean, most people, but you.
Yeah. I don't know that like sugar thing has been blunted for me. Like that moment, that point at which you're like, Oreos, whatever. Like I've lost mine. I don't feel like that's happened yet. Maybe because I've eaten a bit of granola and acai bowls. Is sugar in that?
I mean, there's sweetness. There's a lot of sugar, right?
Granola?
Granola.
So do you think that would be in like two? Has it been two acai bowls or three? Two-ish, I think.
At least two.
Okay.
There's more.
I don't think so
They were
because I like
cheats.
announce. I announce it.
Okay.
So I think it's just been two. And one of them, it was kind of a cheat, but I don't know if it counted because I still logged it and it was still, the number still added up. So if it fits in your thing, then like, is it a cheat meal?
Like all the numbers, including like you still did all the calculations on cars and.
Yeah, it's in budget.
Yeah.
If it's in budget, I
And
kind
that's
of
not a cheat. That's not a cheat.
Not how much of a cheat it is.
Yeah.
Also, like I said, it's fucking fruit for the most part. The only thing that's remotely questionable in it is granola.
Yeah. That's what they say about sugar, though. That like you have to cut it all out
That's my question, I guess.
because any hint of it will like keep your addiction alive.
So, what do I do?
But I mean, it's also an almond milk. Sugar.
Added. No, I don't get like vanilla almond milk with added sugar and stuff.
It doesn't have to be vanilla. I think most just like unless it's marked unsweetened, there's
Yeah. But most of the ones I get, other than the barista thing, which I've gotten the last few
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was thinking
couple of months, I usually don't have. It's not sweet. At some point, I looked at it and was like, "This is a negligible amount of sugar." Also, there's things like that you do and don't want to give up. And frankly, if I was making my own almond milk like normal, I wouldn't need this almond milk. But if I'm not willing to screw up my morning coffee.
I wonder how much of it is like a mental addiction.
Probably a lot of it.
I think I want a sweet a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I think that's where it's like, and then I eat it and it's completely unsatisfying, but I still think
It's hard to differentiate those things.
it is. And I don't know how to shift that. Like, even if I identify it as a thought versus like an actual hunger. What would tell in that instance? They'll just be like, you're just imagining things.
Meditate. Like literally the only way I think I can actually confront an urge like that, which I experienced even last night when I was making jokes about
Oh yeah.
whatever. I'm like vividly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And there's no other way to say it. Because it's not like hunger. It's not hunger.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just discomfort. That's what it feels like to run a cigarette, but like just much more. Yeah, I think the only thing you can do is try to get okay with the feeling you're feeling.
Right.
I don't think there are other ways, shortcuts to like dealing with those impulses other than just like looking right at them and being here I am sitting here with the impulse.
Yeah, that's not bad. And actually, like sitting 10 minutes with the feeling, even if at like the end of the 10 minutes you go and
You
get
get
rid
it?
of that thing, that doesn't discount those 10 minutes.
Agreed. And I think that the most damage from all of those choices doesn't happen when you decide to go get the thing. It's like the guilt and whatever that comes right after. So it depends on how you story it. There's some times that I've ordered donuts and I'm like, I not deserve. It's not that much of a thing, but I'm like, this was I don't feel guilt because I'm like, I feel like it's right somehow.
Yeah.
Like the call was right that I made. But then there's other times that I'm like, I didn't have to get these. And then I just feel like annoyed with myself about it. I almost feel like that, how you feel about it, colors what's going on almost even more than what you actually consume.
Yeah. That kind of brings back like the idea of tension, being like a belief. So it's like if whatever's going on, it makes sense for donuts, and you're not gonna be like beating yourself up. Yeah, if you are,
It's not going to like revisit you at the energy or the thing. It's not going to become a thing. It'll just like you'll move through that moment.
that's interesting. I've like for a long time I can kind of like you get that sense of when you're doing something before you've even done it, and often it comes with food. It's like I know this is going to be something I regret, and then you ride over it.
Yeah. I think it's way better to be like, I get to eat this amazing thing. I'm going to do it and enjoy every second of it. I think that's a completely different way to approach the same exact act.
Okay.
Okay.
Goodbye.